Hello everyone. So we're live. Let me check some items here. Just make sure we're live and all is good. And we can just wait a few more minutes for others to join. In the meantime, as usual, I'm gonna share my screen and kick off the session. Hopefully, okay. Okay, so on LinkedIn, we are also live and all should be good. Awesome. Let me put my phone away. Okay. So where's my slides? Slides of session number 2 of DP-700 and slide setup. Awesome, guys. So let me share my screen and let's kick it off. Cool. So, cool. The Fabric database, the continuation of DP-700 series of the exam preparation for DP-700. We have completed DP-600 and we've passed the first session of DP-700. And today is session 2 for those guys who are maybe new or maybe they are looking for still Microsoft Fabric Café. Now we have actually renamed our community called the Fabric Café. So it was communicated on our LinkedIn and other platforms. We are in the Microsoft Learn community, a rich place for everyone, to just learn about the Microsoft and Azure products and technologies. You can just reach the experts and your peers. And the Fabric Cafe is a Microsoft Learn community and a user group at Microsoft Fabric community with almost 6,000 members. We have weekly and bi-weekly sessions of Fabric Coffee. And we are focusing on Fabric and Power BI. Here are the links to our social accounts, the YouTube channel, LinkedIn, Microsoft community group, and Microsoft Fabric community. You can just join the discussions and other stuffs, and actually find your and for networking actually, and our meetup group, and the meetup group which has basically our sessions and events, and then you can just RSVP to the sessions and rate the sessions for each of them separately. There's a code of conduct for our session when you join. Thank you very much for adhering to them. If you're new here, Mehrdad Abdollahi here at the community lead and organizer of the Fabric Café, Microsoft Learn Expert, and based in Vancouver, Canada. So let's start with this session. In the previous session, we have covered some, a setting of the workspace that we are going to work with as a data engineer, and also we have covered some, security softs, the workspace level access control and item level access control, and just some theory about what tool to use and how we are going to, and just some introduction of the items in Fabric. Today we dive actually deeper. We start with Lakehouse. Actually, we start firstly from more theory sections about the data ingestion. Then we move to the data transformation and working on Lakehouse, working on the notebooks and with Spark Engine, and just covering sections there. Then we will move to data warehouse. However, data warehouse was briefly discussed in our previous bootcamp for DP-600. Anyway, we will just maybe repeat that or summarize it. However, if you have watched that before or you joined before in those sessions, so there might not be something new for you in the data warehouse section of that. And for next session, we will talk about the streaming data in Event House and actually real-time intelligence and the monitoring and optimization section of the exam preparation. Just one thing about these slides. These slides actually have been provided by Microsoft Fabric community and Microsoft Learn, and they are not necessarily a complete thing. And since then, I have to just more talk about the items on the platform itself, Fabric portal. I mean, or today I will work on a whiteboard to just make sure it is delivered as I expect. Today we are focusing mostly on the let me just go back here. We are mostly focused on the ingestion and transformation of the data for batch data processing and not the real time. The real time is going to be next session. So the middle section is going to be done later, and design and implement loading patterns and how we can create them, what are the options, and how we basically create them. About the basically the certification itself, and that is indicating that you should be skilled at manipulating and transforming data by using structured language query, SQL, PySpark, and KQL. So as you might know, in Notebook, you have the possibilities of writing the code in Scala or these languages that are not part of our study plan. And it is for the item. Cool. In order to load data to Fabric, we have discussed that before, in the previous session, that there are some options where we want to load the data. But let's, we have the options of, warehouse, Lakehouse, SQL database, Event House, or KQL database. And for each of these guys, we have some criteria that just based on the type of the file, based off the the volume of your data, or how you're gonna get the data, your destination will be different, right? And what you want to do, for example, if you're looking for a row level security, then you need to just implement something, just choose something from here. Or if you're, for example, looking for a transactional database, so you're gonna go with a SQL database. Or if you want a vector database, you're gonna choose the Azure, Fabric Cosmos DB. So let's jump into the whiteboard firstly. And here I'm gonna just start from very high level one. Oh, I'm not sure if you're seeing my screen. Let me make sure. Stop screen. Share screen. Oh, I previously shared the window only. So yeah, it should be good. The whiteboard. Okay, let's start from maybe scratch here for some options that's where we do actually load our data. So let's firstly check what are the possibilities of landing data. We have the data warehouse, we have our Lakehouse, we have the KQL database, or event house. We've got the SQL, we've got Cosmos DB. Do we have any more? I don't think so. So for example, if we want to just consider the type of your data from your source, of course the data is going to be loaded to your destination from a source. If a source is a completely structured one, it is like the tables, and it is very structured, then yeah, for sure you're gonna go with the data warehouse. If you have semi-structured data or unstructured data, if it is files, then you will go with the Lakehouse. If you don't know what is going your data be, then maybe Lakehouse is going to be a better option if you have a more actually flexibility. If you want to, it is another thing. For example, if your data is going to be an streaming one, right? And you only need to have a read-only and just a read-only of your logs at the scale, then you will go with the KQL database. If it is a transactional data that you're gonna just choose in your apps, then you can go either for SQL or Cosmos DB if you are interested in the document-based databases. And on the other side, if it goes back to what is your expertise and skill sets in your team. If you are purely comfortable with SQL, then yeah, data warehouse is going to be a good option for you. Plus the Lakehouse, but you have more you have more flexibility and opportunities in data warehouse. And however, the SQL can also be used in KQL database. Now we are only talking about the analytical part of our the Fabric discussion, and not talking about these two. However, it is part of the data engineering to get the data from sources and transform it, make it ready for to be used by your data analysts, by data scientists, by AI engineers, and for the next stage of your data to be utilized somewhere. And if you're, for example, comfortable with, or you've got the skill sets of Python, and you would like to have some coding like that, then maybe you can just check the Lakehouse. And yeah, that's a brief maybe an overview of what we discussed last week as well, and of what we are going to talk about. And the other thing, let me just go back to our. So yeah, we discussed in which condition you're gonna choose what data store. The other thing is that you bring the data from a source and you want to actually put it in a destination, right? In between, you need to do some data transformation, right? The data transformation is also, you have some options there. So what are the options we discussed before? We have the data flow Gen 2, and we have the notebooks. The data flow Gen 2 brings us the low code, no code, experience. For data transformation, that is going to be basically combined somehow with moving the data. Let's combine these two together when we talk about movement of the data and the transformation of that. For the movement of the data, we also have some options like data flow Gen 2. We can use the copy data activity in pipelines. We can use the copy job. We can do mirroring of the databases. We can actually bring the data using the shortcuts in the Lakehouse, and so on and so forth. I think I'm missing something for moving the data. Yeah, and of course you can use a notebook as well. What else? For moving the data into Fabric, and when we want to do the transformation, there are some options like data flow into notebooks, the basically SQL analytics endpoints that we basically use it in both Lakehouse or Warehouse. In different cases. In the Lakehouse you have very limited options there. And also you have the event stream for your basically real-time streaming data for doing the transformation. Based on the type of the data that you are getting, based on the skill sets that you've got in your team or yourself, you're gonna choose between one of these guys, and based on the policies on your in your organization. If we want to just give you an overview of each of these guys, for the shortcuts, as its name is explaining, we only just point to a data source outside of Fabric or inside the inside Fabric, like the OneLake and OneLake catalog. You can either choose a folder or a file outside of in your ADLS Gen 2 in Amazon S3, or just point to a delta table somewhere in your system. Then that shortcut is going to be available in your Lakehouse, basically. So let's just make sure it is in the Lakehouse. However, you can have the shortcuts in KQL database as well, that we discuss that. We will discuss that in the next session. For the mirroring, it is from we discussed that before also, that there are different types of the mirroring that it is replicating your database outside of Fabric into your tenant. And in some cases, like the Unity catalog of the Azure, actually Databricks, it is only just creating a shortcut to those tables and not bringing the actual data. But for the rest of the available options for the mirroring, it is bringing the data. For the copy data, it is just grabbing the data from somewhere and put it in the destination. The copy job is providing us with the capability of CDC. Actually, it is based on just identifying the changes between the source and your destination, and just finding the discrepancies from the previous load, then just bring them to your destination. And the data flow is giving you a good opportunity actually from just maybe 300 sources, connectors, to have a powerful low code transformation. And but the destinations are a bit are actually a bit limited. However, there are some limitation destinations for the data flow as well. But for notebook, we have more flexibility. It is coding, but it is going to be harder, but it is going to treat you more actually with the with the features that you can have in your data engineering experience. Cool. Yeah. We will start with bringing some data into our Lakehouse. So what we will do today, let me just go up a little bit. What we are going to do is, first of all, talking about the Lakehouse, the different sections of them. Then we load some files. I'm just going to find some CSV files if I can find it, and then from there we will use notebooks to transform them and load them to the Lakehouse Delta tables. Then we will just check the the options in notebook in detail, and with the Spark definition jobs. Then what else? For the Lakehouse, I think it should be good. Then we can just talk about the data warehouse, and with using by the way, for the notebooks, it's combination and integration with the pipeline in Fabric for how to orchestrate it. And in the data warehouse, we may use the same files, but bringing the data using the dataflow Gen 2. From dataflow Gen 2, or maybe reading the data from the same Lakehouse. However, the transformation will be done by the dataflow Gen 2, and just covering the sections in dataflow. In the data warehouse. Yeah, I think we're good. And for these CSV files, if I can find actually, if I can add it to my ADLS Gen 2, that would be awesome. So let me firstly check the files that I had before in my apply the skills. Okay, there are some CSV files, products, orders, dates, customer 1 and customer 2. So for CSV files I've got here, let me just open it somewhere. And my Azure portal. I'm not sure if it is still up and running, but I've got a container. Oh, the account is disabled. That's fine. I wanted to make a connection here, but that's fine. What I'm going to do is loading my files directly. So let's go to the workspace that we've got in DP-700. DP-700 Fabric database, and we have an active Git from the previous session. Let me cool. So it is the Lakehouse. Yeah, it is the Lakehouse that we have created before. That's fine. So in the Lakehouse, let's firstly just have a look at what this Lakehouse is offering to us, different sections of that, and how it is basically managed. Each Lakehouse is contained from two main sections, which is the tables, which is the managed area, and the files, which are the unmanaged area. So the managed area means it automatically, whatever that we put there, it is checking the associated files that are in the Delta format. They are going to be shown here. And here is a little triangle, which is showing the Delta table. And you can have two views, for the table, for example, that you're seeing here. You can have two views of that, of the file view, which is showing the files behind that is basically sitting in our OneLake. And in the table view, it is a preview of your data. And in the files, it is just listing the files that you've got. For example, here, I want to just upload the file, but let me just create a new folder. The folder that I'm going to just call it, let's call it raw data. And in the raw data, let's upload those files that I just downloaded. Where are my CSVs? 1, 2, 3. I've copied 2 other CSVs as well. Orders and products. So yeah, you can just multi-select them. We can overwrite them if they already exist. However, let's upload them to the raw data. That these data are CSV files now. So in the file section, you can store your raw data. Any kind of files that actually make sense to your needs. So and from here you can, for example, just click on this, 3 dots and just load them to a table. You can download it. You can view the file. It is a text file, which is basically CSV. And what else? You can rename it or getting the properties of that, showing you the URL of that file when it was modified and some additional information about your file. what workspace is it, and what is the size of it. However, you can always, load your file to a new table here. For example, for this one, for the date, the date that makes sense to me. I want to just load that to my Lakehouse as a new table. Let's call it as dates, and it is it's going to be in my DBO schema. But however, I can create a new schema for that, right? Let's call it as staging schema. So we will have a staging schema, then we will have some curated data, then we can just build up some sort of the tables that you need. So I choose the schema of staging. By the way, when you are creating your Lakehouse, you can choose if you want a schema-based Lakehouse or without any schema. When you don't use a schema, so you will have your tables directly here. So let's call it as dates in this staging schema. Now this CSV file has been actually stored, however it is in progress still here. It is going to be stored as a delta table in our Lakehouse managed area. So while this one is busy, loading, let's just look at the other stuffs. The Explorer, firstly, here is only an explorer of what we're doing, right? And you can add the lake houses. It means that you can just add the other lake houses to just check them together here in your view here in the Explorer. You can just choose them. You can find them from a specific workspace that you're looking for, or search on that, and then add them here, and you can manage them basically. But they are going to be a reference, Lakehouse, right? For example, this Lakehouse is not a schema-based one, right? As you can see, there is no schema underneath of the tables. So, but I can manage that. I can create the shortcuts. I can get the properties. The good thing is that about this, maybe you can just looking for something. There's a search button here for you to just say, hey, I'm looking for a table that is called dates, or I'm looking for some items that are called let's say, if it works, order, for example. Then it is going to just list the orders for you. And even in the filtering, it is giving you some other options, that when it was created, what is the type of the items that you are looking for, and in which workspace when you are doing the filtering. So that's a staging one, staging schema. Our dates table have been loaded here. Nice. We have the date column, year, month, week, and day, linked to our other staging data. But let's say it is our staging. That's good. I have it here. In order to write the SQL SQL query on top of this, when you create your Lakehouse, a SQL analytic endpoint is always created beside that. Previously, a default semantic model also was created by creation of the Lakehouse, but since October, it was just stopped. And if you need your semantic model, you can create it yourself. However, here you can just query your your data, right? For example, here you can just select select it as a new query, top 100 of the dates that they have. The SQL endpoint in Lakehouse is limited. You cannot do the DDL data, sorry, the DML queries, basically to manipulate the data. You cannot manipulate the data. It is only a read-only. However, you can create the views on this one. And for example, if you want to save this one as a view, you can just give it a name, even in the staging, and you can just call it view of dates, for example, in the same thing. But it is something that you can add it here. For example, just creating as a view, and of course the queries are going to be stored here. You can always rename your query. For example, here you can just say let's say if it doesn't work, why? Okay, maybe it needs to be saved firstly. Anyway, for the views, we can always have this. We can add a column to that. For example, just as something is active, and I can just say one as active, and we will create the view to just having something here. Or let me just make it much actually better when we are doing that. Let me just say for this one, instead of active, let me just drop this view. And you can just select from staging that dates, and you can just say everything. And for that date, for example, for the column of the date, what is the column of that? Yeah, instead of date, we can maybe say replace date, how the data looks like, this dash. Instead of dash, just say nothing. Let me check it as date key. I'm not sure if it works. Yeah, it's working. But it is still, in the ABC. Actually, it is still string. But let's have something like this that we will use that for our future purposes, maybe. But let's, create the view, and the name of that is going to be in our staging schema, and view dates as this. You can just select it and run it. Cool. Just a quick thing. However, this connection that we have here, this if you're more comfortable with your client tool, like SMS, or in the VS Code, where you have your SQL extension, you can just open this guy in your preferred tool or IDE, to manage your actually to explore your items here. And even it is going to just give you a SQL project for the items that it has here, and plus the queries that you've got. So let me close this guy and let me check if I can rename it now. Yeah, now we can rename it. Create a date view. Just make the query is going to make sense. Here we've got a shared query as well. You can just move one of your queries to the shared query. If you wanted to share it with your colleagues, to just have a look at that or utilize it for future purposes. What else? Yeah, we've got the SQL endpoint that you can use when you're gonna connect to this SQL endpoint using the Power BI or your SSMS. That's cool. Let's back to the Lakehouse itself and see what are the options. In the Lakehouse, you can get the data directly here by uploading the file that we have done. You can load the data using using a pipeline by using the data activity or other activities that are available in the pipeline. You can use a dataflow Gen 2 that we use that in data warehouse, and also you can create a shortcut. For the shortcut, as you can see, you can connect it to the internal sources like a Microsoft OneLake, whatever that fit actually is sitting in the Microsoft in your OneLake can be referenced here. It can be either a Lakehouse, it can be a KQL database, a mirror database, a warehouse, or even a semantic model. Whatever data that are available in your OneLake can be set as a shortcut. And yeah, that's it. And when you add the shortcut, it is going to just have a clip on clips actually on top of that. Yeah, and also you can just load the data from the event stream to this Lakehouse. However, the data that you're seeing in the file section, not in the file section, and yeah, it is not in this one. I think I have it here. Yeah, this stock market, for example, is being loaded actually from an event house, and the data is just streaming to this Lakehouse. If you would like to have your stream data in the Lakehouse, you can just choose Lakehouse as a destination. However, next session we will talk about the real-time intelligence and how you can choose your data. Cool. What we are going to do, let me if it is going to look at this. As you noticed, on the reference Lakehouses, you cannot create a notebook or getting data. It's just only a reference one to have to just explore it. But it has to be your Lakehouse has to be the primary Lakehouse in your Explorer, basically. Anyway, the options here to opening a notebook, either creating a new notebook or opening an existing one. The existing one that are available in your system, doesn't matter what they actually Lakehouse is linked to them, but whatever that are available to your for your user basically, and you have access to. What else we can? Yeah, one more thing about the security of your Lakehouse. There is an option here for managing one lake security that is going to provide you with the options of how to secure your Lakehouse by defining the roles and the permissions. But in order to do that, you have to just turn on the one lake security. However, it is in preview, but it is good to know how to secure your Lakehouse. It may be questioned in the exam. So here I don't have any role rather than this default reader, but I can just name something as a analyst, for example. I'm going to just grant them read or read and write. Let's say we give them read and write. We can choose which data that this role is going to access to. For example, if it is all data, they can read and write all data. If I say only selected data, then I can just browse it, right? I can go to the go to the the folder, in the folder basically for the files and for the unmanaged area in the folder level, and in the basically in managed area I can go further down to the tables. Even I can just give them access to this table and this raw data, or I can just give them access to the staging, and then they say, hey, I have added this data. This analyst team only has access to the tables of for the whole staging. So and when they have their read-write access, they can create their items. They can just write them using the notebooks, and also having access to the raw data. What else? Yeah, and then you can just assign the members from your organization to this account, to this role, I mean. And here is going to be more advanced. You can add some permissions. Actually, I mean, assigning the groups, and then add them here. So here, let's see, Fab2. If I have fabric. Intelligence. Fabric 2. Yeah, cool. That's good. Yeah, and then I'm creating the role, and however I can manage it from here as well, right? I'm granting that they have access to read and write, and I can just change the basically role permissions. I think I canceled that, and also I removed that guy. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and that's it. About the variables, it is basically if there is any variable assigned to this, we will talk about this later. That's it. I think you're good, and you also can share that for sure. And when you want to share it, we can specify the permissions. What additional what permissions and additional permissions that they're gonna have if they can read all SQL endpoint data that is available in that SQL endpoint. They can read all Apache Spark and subscribe to events, build reports on the default semantic model, and execute Apache Java Spark on Lakehouse. So when we want to just give someone access to our Lakehouse. Yeah, let's create our notebook. In order to create the notebook, we can either create it from there. The benefit of that is going to be it sets the Lakehouse that we have created the notebook from is going to set it as a primary and actually default Lakehouse. However, as you can see in the Lakehouse, we can add more data items. The data items can be creating a new Lakehouse from scratch, or adding an existing Lakehouse. For example, this Lakehouse can be also added here, but still this one is pinned, and it is basically our primary Lakehouse. However, we can set the other one as a default Lakehouse, but I don't want to do that for now. Let's just explore what we have in the notebook. Yeah, we have the Explorer side that we can add the items. We have access to all those items that we've got in the Lakehouse. You can have access to the tables, files, whatever that you have. You also have the resources. The resources can be some files that you're gonna need to reuse. Those resources can also be be added in your environment when you are creating the environment. We discussed the environment before, that when you are just let me back to I just want to show you what it does, how it does look like. Let's create a new environment from here. I don't want to create it, to be honest. So yeah, we've got an environment here. Let's go to in this. And you can also upload some resources here. It can be a Python file, it can be some images even, or whatever that you need to be added there. For example, I want to add some data, but there is a limitation of the total size of the resources that you're gonna add to your environment, or even into your notebook, that they can be utilized later. Anyway, yeah, it is where you can also add your resources as well in the notebook too. So I can just upload the file. Let's upload something here. For example, I want to have this one, and it's going to be added here. I can rename it. Let's say the Fabric Cafe logo, and it is a PNG file. Yeah. What else? Yeah, you can add them here, and you can then use these sources. For example, yeah, let me just introduce here as well. The notebook in Fabric is a notebook based on the Jupyter style of the notebooks, that you have the cells. You can have the cells of code or markdown. The markdown is going to be some sort of a documentation or instruction that you're gonna add to your notebook. The notebook is providing you with an interactive environment. It is very good for all data engineers, data analysts, data scientists, AI engineers, whoever is basically working with your data using notebook. It can be very handy for them to have the markdowns and curating the contents. Anyway, here the content there are some possibilities in the in the notebook cells. Let me just let's say fabric data days bootcamp DP-700, right? At Fabric Café. Cool. So this one is, if you just click outside of this cell or press escape button, it is going to just exit from this edit mode. However, you can mark it as a paragraph or heading 1, 2, 3 to up to 6, but I put it as a heading 1, and we will see how it does look like, and we can just edit that by adding a link or something like that, right? For some sort of basically documentation or collaboration with your others. So it is basically providing you with some collaboration opportunities, and you can just work with your team. Then you can just add the codes, and the reason that I added that was let's say here, for example, we've got get just get data, for example, and you can just give it as a second item, and you can just collapse it or something like that. And in order to view, you can just find as a table of contents. Then you can just find the item that you are looking for. It's going to be very handy for very large or actually for large notebooks, or you want to just categorize your code in your notebook. The thing is that let me just add that basically you can add that image here, and I'm not sure if that image is going to work. It is not working for me. That's fine. Cool. In the home section, actually home in the ribbon on the home part, you've got the you can just save it as just make a copy of it, download it, or in the setting you can endorse it. We talked about that. We can just rename it from the setting section. I would say Lakehouse, my Lakehouse notebook number 1 is you can add a description as well, and basically the cells here are going to contain the code cells here are going to contain your data. If it's even just dragging and dropping your table, it is going to just generate a code for you. For example, this one is spark.sql, and your data. When you open your notebook, there is no active session here. You need to initial a session. The session basically is going to be initiated on an environment, actually on an environment, right? That we have discussed that. The workspace setting that we've got is a runtime of 1.3. However, recently we've got runtime 2, which has the Spark version 4, and which is in review, preview still. But you can always customize it and changing your environment and what's basically runtime you're gonna run for your notebook. And also you can define the engine and the language that you are going to choose when you want to work with on your notebook. However, in the Spark engine, we will work with PySpark and SQL, Spark SQL. The Scala and R are not part of the data engineering exam. Also, if let me just differentiate between the Spark and Python and SQL analytics. Spark is, as you may know, and we discussed that, is basically executed and as a distributed system, and whatever that you're gonna execute is going to be distributed to this the nodes of your clusters, and then it is going to be just basically gathered from those clusters and bring it back to you. But Python and TSQL here are basically executed in a single node and in a single node of the node, actually, of the resources, and the engine is Python. So we are working on this section. And when you use the Spark engine or whatever of those engines, you can also change the language of each of these individual basically individual cells to what language you are coding. For example, this one is PySpark, right? And with hitting this run cell, our session is going to be started. So we have two options of starting a session. If you again remember the previous session, we have talked about the how we can basically create the sessions. Are we going to utilize the starting pool, or we are going to create our own basically environment, right? And there was also another which is for each a notebook that we are going to basically execute, a new session is going to be initiated, right? Just imagine you're having another notebook in another tab, then you say new standard session, it is going to just initiate a new session. However, there is an opportunity here to use the high concurrency sessions. When you start a new high concurrency session, you can share the resources in that session with another notebook that you already have in your workspace that is running, or even it is something that can be configured when you are scheduling, or when you are running the notebooks via pipelines. However, if you have any open high concurrency session, you can see them here and you can choose from them. So we're going to start the session, or even we can run this cell, or with running the cell for the first time. The session is going to be also started. We have used the session was started quickly because we are using this starter pool, which is already warmed up. And if we have our custom session, then that one would actually take more time to be initiated, 2-3 minutes. So in order to execute the columns, actually the cells that we have here, let me just add some more. Let's execute this one. What is it doing? Basically, in this, of course, in this session, we are not going to teach PySpark itself, but we will just look at some items that we've got here to just show the data, right? Show the possibilities. When basically you execute, you want to work with the in PySpark, the delta table part of that. Let's back to in environment. You have two main components in your environment, right? It is Spark, which is the engine of doing all of these calculations, and Delta. Delta is the storage layer, as you know, and this basically data frame is one of the main items in your notebook and Spark engine that you can actually consider it as a table in memory, right? And yeah, it is now the data has been loaded in a data frame, and that data frame can be displayed. Underneath of that, we can see some stuff like the Spark jobs that have been executed, basically based on the complexity of this, the code that we have in our cell, and if it was successful or not, and about the details here, we'll talk about them in the last session in the monitoring and optimization section. But as you can see, it is providing us with the table content of our table in staging schema. The table that you've got here, basically the result that you've got here can be basically by clicking on each of these guys, you can see the data. It is basically providing you with a data profiler like this. That you had in you had the same. Actually, you have the same thing in dataflow. It is giving you some additional info that, for example, for the date, it is just giving you the cardinality of that. For example, for the month, week, what are actually values are available, the minimum and maximum of it, and what else? And also you can create the chart from this guy. However, this chart can be modified. You can edit it, and you can just change it to another chart, like bar chart or whatever that you need. However, it is mostly used by data analysts, but maybe for the data profiling and understanding the data and what is happening behind that, and knowing the notebooks capabilities, it is good to know what you have here. One nice thing about the notebook is Data Wrangler, that is providing us with some capabilities that we have in that we have them in dataflow in the Power Query, that you can just do the data transformation without writing the code. It is in no code actually. It is going to be a good opportunity as well to, let me just add the code here, a good opportunity for just learn how the Spark is working as well. When you just click on that right Data Wrangler, it is just identifying the data frames that are available in your current session, right, in your current notebook. So it is just finding that. Yeah, cool. The dataflow Gen 2 is giving us some, the data profiler. For example, for here it says, 31 distinct values for the column of date, and here are, the options, and in the in below we have the cleaning steps. And however, you have the opportunities, to just filter on them, drop the table, rename the table, sorting it, and so on and so forth, right? However, in the date table, we are not going to do that much. But remember what we have done. What we have done in just created a view with adding the column. Maybe we can add a column here, just new column by example. Oh, not this one. Just some custom operations, or we can do something nice here. For example, for the changing the column type. For example, for date, I'm just changing that to a date time, or the date time should be good, for example. And when I add it, a date time value is going to be, a step is going to be added here. You can just apply it, and the rest should be good for now. Just as an overview of this one. However, there are some suggestion. It is just giving us some suggestion. For example, it says, hey, go and drop the column day or column of year. You can just get rid of it, or you can ignore them, or take them to action. There are some AI functions. However, in our trial version of trial capacity in Fabric, it is not available, but the AI functions are also available here. You can just fix the grammar. I don't know. You can just detect the sentiment, which is very and actually helpful. Just identifying the feeling of a comment or review in your organization or your product. That is very fantastic. Also, it can just translate it and categorize the text based on the instruction that you give to the this one. And what else? That should be good for now. Just I wanted to show you how it does look like. And then you can just know the code that is going to be be generated behind the scene for this conversion. You can either copy that code to a clipboard or add a code to the notebook. This code is going to be added in your code. Let's just add it and see what actually it does look like. Let's delete this guy. And here it is actually using the library of SQL of PySpark and importing the types, and it is just giving the alias of T. Defining basically defining a function with the the input of a data frame. The data frame is going to add a new column. Actually, that column is going to be the same name, so it is going to replace that. And but it is just changing the type of that to timestamp type, and it's returning that. And here we are basically displaying. Yeah. Cool. And the value you can see now is different than what we had. We had above. What else? Okay, in the edit section of your notebook, you can always switch on and off your autosave. The undo, let me just show you this one. I added just 1 to 3. The undo is not working in the cell level. It is, so I mean, in the code level. It is basically working in the cell level. If you, for example, I deleted this cell, right? After creating of this, I deleted this cell above. Now by undoing, it was added. And if I go just redo, this cell is gone. It is only doing the cell. You can just manage the cells. You can copy them or move them up and down, or reordering them or deleting, or even just adding the code cells below or above, or a markdown to them. And of course, there are some shortcuts always, shortcut keys to do them. And clearing all outputs, these are some handy stuffs that you may need to do. And one more thing, which is a very nice thing when using the notebook is, for example, now I'm on this. In order to exit from the edit mode, just pressing the escape, and then click on B. It is going to create a new node for me here, actually new cell for me here. And in order to just have some snippet, actually some ready codes to reuse, you can just start writing for only a snippet. And for a snippet, you can when you just add it here, you can search for the basically the code that you're looking for. For example, I want to say write data to a delta table, right? Or write to a file, right? Lakehouse Spark API. But I want to just write it to a delta table. So it is going to give me the syntax even, right? Which is a nice thing. For example, it needs a delta table path. Here I would say, since I'm in my basically the default Lakehouse, I can just only say maybe tables, and then DBO, no, that's the staging. No, let's say DBO dot or this one, I'm not sure. Let me just copy path and see how the copy path. Oh, the path of that this guy is giving me. Okay, so that's good. DBO, and let's say cleaned dates, right? Then I'm going to just specify the format of that, of delta. The format of that is important here. The mode of that is important. We have two options of the mode is going to be overwrite or append. Append is basically for just adding the data to whatever that you have. It is very useful for your fact tables, and the rest, it is going to just merge a schema through and save it as this delta table path. And let's check if this data is going to be in, and if there is any error, we can find it out. It succeeded for all of them. Nice. We can just go to our DBO and checking the data here. The clean data is already available here. So very simple. We haven't done any fancy thing, but let's say we want to, for example, we want to parameterize this guy, right? We want to parameterize the table name, right, or the table path. So what we do in order to create the parameters, right, for example, here I create a parameters and put it as a heading 2, right? And creating a code. I would say delta table path, right? And the default of that, I will say the clean data. That's it, right? And then what? In order to make this one as a parameter, then I can just go and click on these 3 dots and click on this toggle parameter cell. And now a parameters sign is added to my notebook here. So whenever I want to call this notebook, then I can parameterize this one. How we can use it? So let's use this guy and see how it does look like. There are some options here, while we're busy with that. We have the for example, we can just freeze one cell. When we freeze the cell, it is going to just prevent from editing. You cannot edit that. Cell is frozen, cannot be edited, and it is not going to be executed even, right? So then we unfreeze it. And the other option in the notebook is collaboration, right? Collaboration with others. How you can do that? You can just, for example, adding the comments there. By adding the comments, you can select something here and then just say, for example, here I want to tell my colleague, and they can just tag it here. I can, by tagging, it is going to just bring my colleagues, the names, in users in my organization. Then I can just say, hey, choose a name aligned with company standards. I don't like this name, for example. Then this comment is going to be added here, and that's it. It is going to be highlighted like this. Then I can resolve it or edit it, or just adding more comments. And the other thing, for the for the notebooks, when you start opening them or editing them, actually, it is going to create a new version of that. So you can just look at the version histories. You can also create a version yourself, and then you can just restore that specific version, or save it as a copy for a specific version for just for backup purposes or sharing. Okay, it's back to the notebook. So we have set the parameter. We can now just call our notebook from outside. But before doing that, let's just cover the ribbons and menu. In the AI tool, as I mentioned, we have the data wrangler. Now, as you can see, more data frames are loaded. Now we have the the data flow, or data flow clean. We can just set up those AI actions for the translation, categorizing of the text, fixing grammars, which is not available for us in free trial. And for those guys who are doing the machine learning, they can just run and experiment the data. So this notebook can be added to a pipeline, an existing pipeline or a new pipeline. We will do that shortly. But each notebook can be scheduled, in order to be executed. You can just schedule that to be executed every minute, every 15 minutes, or every 1 minute, whatever that makes sense, when it's going to be started, when it's going to be ended, and the time zone of your that actually makes sense. You can add the different schedules to be executed, but the maximum is 20 schedules. However, about the endorsements we have discussed before, you can just endorse your item here as well. So let's in the view, you can just view them in the different ways, side by side, or only outputs. The codes are going to be hidden, and we can just having the standard. Just keep in mind, all the outputs that we have got here, if we close the even we close the notebook and just open it again, those outputs are persisted, and we can just see them, and that is a good thing for the data analyst. Maybe they can use it a lot. And one more thing, I'm not sure how many. Yeah, we've got some variables here. We have the variables in our code, but let me just run everybody here. Then in the bottom you can see the value of the variables, the current, the type of them, the length of them, and also the current value of them. For example, in the top for the delta table path, I've put this value, or for the data frame of this one, it is in this shape. And when the second one was basically initiated for the delta table path, we had this. Oh, by the way, we've got this variable here that we want to actually the parameter here that we want to assign it to what we have in the bottom, right? So this delta table path is going to be assigned to this. So in the next execution, whatever name that we specify in our execution is going to be basically is going to be reflected in our Lakehouse tables. Yeah. So you're from your homepage. You can also open it in your VS Code, or benefiting from your Copilot. And in the bottom also you can just see what branch of your Git it is connected to, and some information about your session. If you remember, again, the previous session we talked about the sessions for our Spark sessions in the notebooks, that we can have a timeout for our session. It is the minute. Actually, the default is 20 minutes. With each execution, this session is going to be renewed. But if you want to increase it, you can just just reset this one to a number. Cool. So let's add it to a new pipeline, and get data, or my pipeline one. I don't know what to name it for now, but let's add this notebook to a pipeline. So if there is any question, please add it in the chat. tonight is going to be a bit long because we have two big discussion, Lakehouse and Warehouse. So bear with me and give me more energy. So yeah, our pipeline, if you're new here, again, the pipeline is actually an object, an item in Fabric that is used for the orchestration of the tasks and activities. So here you can just have different tasks in your canvas, and they gonna be executed in an order or based on some conditions, and it is very configurable, and you can parameterize everything. However, for this notebook, for example, that we've got here, there are some settings. I'm gonna just call it of this notebook. Let's call it for creating date tables, let's say, right? And in the advanced session, if something goes wrong with that, we can retry of running for this one, and even we can set the timeout for execution of this specific activity. However, we have this guy added to our pipeline. The connection is already done to that. The workspace is our current workspace, and the notebook, it is going to list all the notebooks here. And since this notebook has why the parameter is not loaded? So maybe it takes time for parameters. The parameter is not loaded yet. Okay. Let's reload it. Automatically it should be actually popped up, but if it doesn't, let's just copy the name here, the name of the parameter. It is string, and we just send something like tables, this time DBO, but my dates 1, let's say. However, you can just add dynamic, you can add some dynamic stuffs here to your item. We can just call the pipeline IDs, the pipeline name, that is adding that, for example, or I don't know, calling, from the variables that we've got in the in our pipeline, or using the library variable. The library variables are basically the global variables in your Fabric, in your Fabric workspace, that then you can just have a set of public libraries. At the moment, there's actually nothing here that cannot be loaded. Anyway, let's check if this pipeline is going to be executed with passing this parameter. But before that, let's execute it for now. When we run it, you can just see the execution history in the output section, that for each step is going to be a one line, how long it is going to take time, and if there is any failure to that, you can see the status of it. It is now queued. It is going to just change it in progress, and once completed, you can see the input and output of it, right? For the input, for example, I have added the parameter of the tables DBO and my dates 1, and it is a string, and these are the inputs. And the output of that, there's nothing yet because it is not completed. It is not either failed or succeed. So these are just the run ID that you can just use that in your in the last session. We will just talk about them in detail to how to basically monitor and optimize and analyze your executions. For a pipeline, you have a list of activities that you can basically add to your canvas, right? Here are the full list of them. That some activities are used for moving and transforming the data. For example, you can just copy the data, or using a copy job, or a copy data activity. You can execute a data flow here. You can delete the data. For just metadata and validation, you can get metadata from somewhere. Just look up from your sources. The control flows, these are the obvious things when we are talking about the orchestration. If this happen, do that, or switch between some items, filter, or wait for 5 minutes, then do something. Or even if we are just working on a list, a for each loop or until loop can be useful, and or setting the variables, and just making a failure to do the to just make it continued. To make it stopped, and creating an error basically. And in order to orchestrate, it is basically it is going to it can execute another pipeline or invoke another pipeline, or sending a webhook if there is any available a webhook to just initiate something outside of Fabric. Refreshing the semantic model, executing the Azure Databricks, if there's any function, or Azure Batch, Azure HD Insight. And if you want to do the notification, you can just either send it by email or the Teams message. And in order to transform the data, you can execute a Spark job definition, or executing the notebook that we are doing now, executing the script. You can just write the script in there, our destination language, whatever language is it, and we can just check what languages and items are available, for the script, that what connection we are going to choose, and how we are going to basically configure it. And lastly, it is going to be the start procedures, executing the start procedures, or KQL, basically scripting, and for the machine learning. So these are the activities are around, and so you can just decide which you're gonna use for your use case. However, this one is succeed now, and the output now, it shows the status is succeed, and these guys are just happened. And we can check our Lakehouse. If in the DBO, in the table section, we have now that new table that we expected for as the my data 1, right? Yeah, my dates actually 1 now is available here. However, it only has one column. Why? It has only one column. Let me just check my code. Oh, maybe, yeah, it's because of this. So, let's get rid of this guy. If we overwrite it, what is table of this? Oh, not here. Uh-oh. What we have in the clean? Oh, sorry for that. That is why. So the data set that I actually, it was the snippet code that I basically is the snippet code actually that I used, and I forgot to rename the data frame. So the data frame that we had was df clean. So I want to use the same thing, then write this guy to a table. So if we run it now, it should be fine. And with the expected columns, the data was nothing there. So it should be good, succeed. And if we go with the clean dates, yeah, now we've got the columns here. And if we execute our pipeline again, it is going to be the same thing. But before that, let's create a copy data as well here. The copy data, one of the ways for moving the data, right? Let's say our let me just check if we can. I want to just check for, yeah. So from our Lakehouse, just give me a sec, sorry. I need to postpone something. Okay. So for copying the data, one of the ways for moving the data, we can just connect to the Lakehouse that we are in, and from the files, we can just give the file path, or even we can browse it. With browsing, actually, I have the raw data that we actually identified. And from the products, I choose the product, and then the destination of this one is going to be the same, Lakehouse that I have. I want to put it in as a table, just let's overwrite it. For example, here we can specify overwrite it, append, or upsert. Upsert is still in preview, which is a cool option, cool, actually feature for. Let me just take it, put it like this. You can see everything here. It's not actually a big one. Anyway, you can just put the table name manually, or it is going to be a new table. For example, this one I want to put it in the staging and call it products. Then create it. So the upsert is going to basically just compare the items. We need to specify the key column. For example, here the product ID. If it does exist, it is going to update it. If not, it is actually, if it cannot match it, then it is going to insert the new record. It is the same thing as merge, merge, basically from actually the merge statement in SQL. However, the merge, the merge basically function is also available in notebooks. So we are going to overwrite it just as for now. We can just do some advanced stuff like applying vorder for having a better actually performance for the search experience, and enabling the partition. And if we enable the partition, then we can specify what column we are using for partitioning. For example, if we are loading the data for your fact table, then you can maybe partition that by year or day, a month, or something like that. Yeah, since it is a new table, so the mapping is not going to work. However, we can preview the data, which is let's see. No, it is not going to work. That's fine. For the copy data, I would say copy, or let's say load products. So yeah, we have added loading products. And one more thing, just some stuffs in the pipeline. You can always just right click on it, deactivate it, or using this options here to deactivate one item. It is not going to be executed in the next section, or even you can just mark it as something when it is deactivated. But for more clarity, and again the retries, these are some basically let's say items that we've got here, some other options. Anyway, we can connect always, just defining an order for the execution for our activities in a pipeline. For example, here there are some items on skip. If this step is skipped, then we can just drag and drop to the next one. I say on success, on fail, or on completion. I would say on completion, just go for the data loading the products. Then yeah, and it is automatically saved. You don't have to just save it, or oh, hang on. The validation has a problem. Must be binary when source is of binary format. Oh, is it? It's not binary. It is not working with. It's not binary. It's delimited text. Do we have CSV? Yes, we have the delimited text. Okay, then yeah, it is fixed, right? So there is an option that's good. These guys happen. There's a validation check. You can just validate it. In our example for my destin, actually, the source, I didn't choose the file format correctly. It should be a delimited text since it is a CSV file. And for execution of your pipeline, you can execute it actually on demand like this, run, or you can schedule it. For the schedule, you can, same thing as we discussed for notebooks, you can add the schedule here to be executed every hour, every day, or based on the interval that you need. And also you can add the triggers. The triggers is not necessarily related to the pipeline itself. These triggers can be used somewhere else as well, but you can just define the rules and just the events that is basically going to be happen. Then this pipeline is going to be executed and invoked. One of the very common things when we are working, for example, with the files is going to be Azure Blob Storage event. For the Azure Blob Storage, when if files or folder are added, for example, here you're gonna connect to that, then we can just choose, for example, if the file has been added, then we can this one is going to be executed. So for each of these rules and events, you can just find its way for sure by following the documentation where it does apply to you. For example, for the OneLake events, when a file or folder is added or I don't know, created, deleted, or renamed in OneLake, or even you can just subscribe to workspace item events when an item in your workspace has been added or something happened to that. So yeah, that's it. I think it's good. Let's execute this guy. Just oh, we need to save it. So it is not going to be saved by itself. You have to save it. It's good. Then you can just run it. Somehow we have parameterized the notebook, right? It is some sort of patterns that we have created. We have created a notebook that we can just have a different data destination table, or even you can add more parameters to that for a new file from somewhere else, right? And yeah, it's a long story. What else? So let's back to the notebook, to our notebook. For this one, we have created our table. That's fine. So let's back to one more thing I want to just talk about this as well. Let's create another notebook. Let's check if the table in the staging has been added for this products. So we are still here. I want to check it in. My pipeline is not executed yet completely. So the first item, creating date table is succeeded. That's fine. Let's check it because if you remember, the field names was not as we were expecting. Now it is good. And let's check its data. Where's my Why it keeps going to okay. My dates 1, now it's good. We can just have a look at the data. If you remember, the date column, we just added that date time format. And again, this ID that is added here is because of that mistake for the not naming, actually not referencing the right data frame. Cool. And in the staging, if this guy, yeah, it is completed now. Now you can see we have two basically steps, activities that has been completed. The load, products, the input. What is the input of that? You can just check the input, and also checking the output and what was the output of the whole activity, if it is created or not. We can just check it here. If we go to, let me just close this guy. If we go to staging, the products now is showing up. So how the products look like, let's have a look at the table and see, it is still our staging. We can do more on that. For example, the data type of product ID is still string, the unit price is string, and that's it. Now we have the category and names as well. What we need to do, basically, I wanted to just add a notebook here. Let's create a notebook and call this notebook as load the orders, right? I want to just say load orders. And here I have my orders data right here. I want to just add it to my code, easily. When you add it, the Spark read format is CSV. The option, as header. Header is true. It means that the first line is my header, and the URL of this file. Let's just display the data frame. And as you can see, it is basically starting a new session for me. It is again a starting pool. Guys, all is good? Any comment? Any question? Only have one comment from Ashkan. Hey, Ashkan, hi. Cool. It is our data in the orders, right? So I would like to change the data, data types. So I'm gonna use this data wrangler to do it sooner for me. Is going to be very faster, but you need to know the functions that you're gonna use for your items. For example, I want to just the type of this guy. It says it is object, but the schema change column type from this one to an let's say int 64. For my product ID, the same thing. I'm gonna just choose as in64. Same thing for the quantity. It is going to be an integer. Also, the in64. The total of that, I would like to say, something like currency. It is, let's call it as a float one, float 64. So I've got some items here, right? And now I have also the order date. I want to create a new order date, but that's good for now. But let's only change this one also as a date time, because I want to link it to the date that I have in the other table. So let's add all of them to my code. So as you can see, the new columns have been added with a new column with column. The type has been added, checked, and then I can just write this data clean when I'm happy with that. Then yeah, didn't I change the customer ID? So let's add the customer ID here as well. Customer ID. And maybe we can add something with a new column, right? Let's say df dot with column, and let's call it unit price, for example. And the unit price is going to be why the total is not float. Total is didn't came in. Oh, the quantity, it was a mistake here. So I want the quantity to be as a long type, and the total to be as a double, which is the float 64 in the data wrangler. So now the unit price, the new column, basically is going to be my total divided by the quantity. Let's see how it does look like. Cool. The unit price now is being added here. So we have added a new column as well. So the other thing maybe we can add to our code is going to be just filtering, the quantities above one item, right? And I'm only interested in, for example, getting the quantity, the items from that one, and from here I would say if it loads. For example, for the quantity, I want to just filter it and say if it is the quantity is greater than 1. greater than 1. And you can just add the conditions, add the filters. Then let's just copy it to the clipboard. And let's add it here. Let's add it as a new code. So it is basically, we are cleaning the data, and it is called now pandas df clean 1. I'm going to delete this guy and only just say df clean, df clean final. Let's call it something like this, so not being mixed up with the other one. Just keep track of them. So now it is only loading the orders that are, the quantity is greater than this. And let's just, to be very quick here, just copy the code that we have here to load it to a new table. And our data frame is this guy. And for the delta table, instead of this, I would say tables, staging, or let's say DBO, or staging still. I would say DBO, sorry, DBO orders, right? And it's going to just overwrite it. Oh, it's complaining about what's happening. Tables, DBO, orders. What's the error? This one is complaining about shouldn't be any problem with this. Let's choose the staging. Oh, what's happening? Data frame object has no attribute, right? Oh, is it because clean data? What's wrong with that? Why it does not allow us? It's just copying. Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, it is just copying the pandas. Yeah, I don't want to do it. And so let's not filter it here, directly load it. And since we are actually loading to the staging, we can do that later. Let's call, just load this one to our Lakehouse for now. So it is added, and in our staging, we have now the order. So what we have done here, a quick thing, we read the data from a CSV file, right? We read the data from CSV file. We have done some, transformation by changing the data types, and also added a new column here. So now we have the orders table as well with the appropriate stuffs. That's good. We have actually, I think, covered most of the things in the notebook, except for one thing. In a notebook, you can basically make use of a MS Spark utils, a set of utilities that you can use in your Spark, and there are different actually possibilities there. One of them, for example, is orchestrating the notebooks, and you can just find the notebook and run it, and by just giving the name of that, and one of them is the load orders. When you load when you run the notebook in a session, basically that notebook is going to use the current session of the notebook that we are running. So yeah, it is going to just run it as well. So it is one of the stuffs. You can just look at the MS Spark utils in your time. There are other options as well. You can just say percentage. The magic, actually, magic codes that we've got here. The magic is adding some capabilities. 2 percentages is going to just change the language of this the cell that we have. For example, for this one, I change it to SQL, and I can just start writing the SQL. And here, for example, I would say staging that orders, and let's say star, and it's going to just give me the records from this table. I forgot about the DP-700. Still complaining. It cannot be found. Staging orders. No, it's not a big thing. Let me check if we add it. So, did I miss anything? Maybe the name of that I put, I did not follow the limit. Yeah, it is. So it's good. You can just change it, or even you can actually use the inline magics, like for example run. Then you can just add the name of your notebook, right? It is going to be your notebook. This can be executed here like this as well. So I'm gonna just delete this guy, and that should be enough. So our notebook is running another notebook, so it is like some sort of and in the pipeline, basically what is happening in our pipeline, this creating date table, let's rename it, for example, table plus load orders, right? Sorry, the naming of that. Load orders is happening in one step, in one notebook, but the loading order is going to be executed within that notebook, then copying the product data that we've got here. Cool. I think we're good. What else? We can add to our Lakehouse. Let me just check my notebook if I'm not missing anything. And yeah, so Beside the notebooks, we have the Spark job definitions, right? Where you can basically, when you are preparing your data. So let's have a look at this one. When you are preparing your data, you have the opportunity of using the pipeline that you have used that. You have the notebook, the Azure Data Factory and Dataflow Gen 1, the old stuffs that you might be aware of that. The event stream is going to be done in the next session. Dataflow Gen 2, if we get time, we can do it today. For the Apache Airflow job, is basically a code-based list of activities. It is not a really hard thing. If we go to the pipeline, for example, and we basically see the JSON code of our list of activities, it is somehow the same thing in Airflow, but you can just defining your tag there, and just you can then specify the activities that is going to be executed. The activities are basically the notebooks that you have. If there is any dependency on the notebooks, you can just run them in an order. What else? Okay, let's back to our stops here. So for the data preparation, you can create the Spark job definition as well. The Spark job definition, Spark job 1, basically is going to expect us to upload a file, a code of Python, of the jar, whatever that we need. You can upload the file from your local file or bring it from your ADLS Gen 2. However, the files that you can specify is here is the Python script with the py py basically extension. And if there's any recent one, however, you need to assign it is the maybe tip and point of that is you have to assign a Lakehouse to your job definition. It is not necessarily for having a default Lakehouse, but it is mostly for using that the file system of that Lakehouse when it is working with the data. And you can add the Lakehouses here. Anyway, it can be you can just specify the language on that. So if you change it to a Scala, then it is going to expect you to just upload your Java archive, or if you go for the Spark R, it is going to be in that position. And then of course you can specify your environment, what environment you want the job description, the Spark job definition to be executed. And you can schedule that for sure. You can schedule your job to be executed or run it and seeing the result. It's not a really a big thing, but yeah, it's good to know how to do it. Cool. So, and for the job definition, that's good. We're good. And yeah. What time is it? It's 8:20. 2 hours and something. We talked about Lakehouse. So I think for tonight is, I don't know, enough. However, we can talk about the data warehouse as well, and because we have previously covered the data warehouse in DP-600. but maybe it is not bad to just cover some sections here, right? For example, let's go back to our whiteboard. So for loading the data, we talked about the notebook. We created the pipeline. We called that. We have done some sort of parameterizing the stuffs and creating a pattern for execution. It can be done in different ways for sure. And for a data flow and data warehouse, let's discuss this guy as well. For the data flow, as we mentioned, is a low code, no code, and very powerful. The Power Query, the very powerful tool for the data transformation. So it is going to be used there, and let's have a look at it. Oh, before moving there, I just want to show you quickly something in the items. So in order to get the data, we mentioned that we have the mirroring option as well, mirroring the databases, right? Here are the options that we've got for the mirroring. Some of them are in the preview for the Oracle, for PostgreSQL, and the BigQuery, but the rest are available. The catalog of Databricks, which, as I mentioned, it is not loading the actual data. It is going to be basically the metadata of your database. The Cosmos DB, Azure SQL, for the Snowflake, you can bring the actual data, but you can choose what tables you are interested in mostly. So, and in behind the scene is free, and behind the scene, the Fabric is going to take care of the maintenance and the CDC, just checking for any data load that has happened there. Cool. We need to create a data warehouse for now, because I want to work with a Dataflow Gen 2. For the data warehouse, or Fabric warehouse, let's say, it's called Fabric warehouse, DP-700 my warehouse. Let's call it like this. So the data warehouse, as I mentioned, it is a SQL one, which is very optimized for. It is very optimized for reading the. It is for reading and data warehousing basically. When you created an endpoint, SQL endpoint, like what we have experience in Lakehouse is going to be created here. You can start getting data by loading the data using the Dataflow Gen 2, or a pipeline using a data activity, or loading a sample data, or even getting the data using the T-SQL, or even publishing a database schema from an external project, right? The SQL project basically is going to be a project of database that contains the tables, views, that is templatized in your Git or local machine. Then you can just push it as a database and those definitions of the objects in your warehouse. Anyway, I'm going to load the data using a Dataflow Gen 2. And for this one, I would say load customers, right? Because I want to, load my customers. So I have loaded, I've loaded the data from actually in my Lakehouse for orders and products plus dates, and the customers is remained. I want to just load the customers here. For the data flow gen 2, if you want to enable the Git integration, you can just tick it here, and it is going to be available in your basically CI/CD process. So the data that I've got in customers are in two files, right? Let's just have a look at them quickly in my Lakehouse. It is a CSV file, right? In my files. Oh, where is it? Oh, not here, sorry. In the raw data. So we have two customer files, customers 1, customers 2, and then we can just merge these two together, right? There is my data flow. So for loading customers, I want to load it from those CSV files and load them to a destination of my data warehouse, where all the, basically, why it is not loading? My staging data is located. Cool. So the data flow Gen 2 is, as you know, is using the Power Query, and which is providing us with different, options. The default destination is the warehouse that I have here, because I chose the load data from there. However, it doesn't dictate only this can be my destination. I can modify it later. But to start, I'm gonna just start for getting data, and the data is going to be my CSV file, and the file that I've got is already in my Lakehouse, right? So I'm going to look at my one lake, and I will go to my Lakehouse. It's connecting to my Lakehouse, and cool. And in the file section, it is going to list all the tables that are available, but I can just find it in the file section because it is a file for me. And so in the raw files, then let's choose customer 1 and customer 2, both of them. So here, the data has been loaded here, right? The first thing that I'm going to do, just have a look at them. The customer 1, first of all, the first line is, my basically the what do you call it? The header, right? That needs to basically to be in. Why it is not loading? Why? Cool. Basically, the sorry, just give me a sec. I'll be back short. So my apologies. Cool. Where are we? Okay. So for in the advanced editor, we can just set the first line of I'm not really good at Power Query, so I have to search for it. First of all, it was something here, for use the first row. Yeah, use the first row as headers. Is it using this? Yes. And also the same thing for, yeah, done. And also this one, use first row as header, in the transformation section. Then we are going to be basically, merge these two, list, and maybe we can, just merge queries. For merging queries, sorry, not merging, I mean just, let's say, append queries, append to this one, and now it is just added here, but we can see the duplicates. Maybe the next step could be just remove duplicate rows. Now we are just cleaning, cleaning our set, and let's add a new column. For example, add a custom column as my full name. Is going to be the first name plus a space and my last name, for example. Then, yeah, somehow it is. It should be. So, this ampersand maybe, not this. Does it work? Yes. Yeah. So for concatenation of the string, we use the ampersand here, and that's good. So for dataflow gen 2, how it does work basically, we add the steps for our data sets that we've got. For example, here I've got 2 data sets of customers, that has some similarities. It happens a lot in your organization when you are integrating data from different sources. So we need to just keep them, similar, and actually clean your data and transform it like this. And even you can, do the filtering, do the aggregation, or adding the new column, removing the unwanted columns, and so on and so forth. So you have the location here, you have the customer ID. The type of that is good. It is the whole number. That's fine. What else? We are going to do. The steps are here, and just having an overview of what's happening of the data flow environment. You can just see the whole scripts that each of these lines represents a step in your data flow. That in each one of them you're basically referring the previous one. You're calling something, and then you're referring a previous step that you have used above, and you have actually defined above. And then you can just change your view to the step script. It is going to maybe much easier for you to manage it. And this visual basically editor or visual basic diagram is going to be very helpful to see what's happening and what is the relationship between these two guys. And you can see the schema view or the table data view. There are some possibilities, however, it is not available here now because we are not meeting the requirements. Like the incremental refresh. For the incremental refresh, it is basically referring to the data sets and tables that are actually having a datetime field that it can compare with the destination, and the type of the destination should be appending a table. So however, there are some other possibilities to have a better performance, which is the enable staging. And you need to keep in mind when you are loading the data using this, the data flow, it is always better that you fold the the transformation to the data source. However, it is a CSV file, and our source engine is not supporting the data folding. But if, for example, if you're using a SQL, when you do the filtering or removing the columns, these kind of stuffs, earlier in the earlier step, then that's up to that step, it is going to be folded to your source system, and it is going to save a lot of resources for your data flow. The data flow can also be parameterized. You can just create the parameters here for different purposes. If you want to, for example, parameterize the your source file name, let's say, right? Because here we are specifying a file name, right? Let me just bring it here for you. It is from the name, the table. Sorry, the folder name is the raw data. Then at the end of that, you are specifying a file name. So this file name can be parameterized and being basically fed from where you are calling this data frame. Sorry, the data flow. So yeah, we're good, and now we can load this data to our destination. So here you can remove this destination, right, and add your destination, another destination. However, here are available options for the destination that in Microsoft Fabric you can use Lakehouse, Warehouse, or SQL database, which is in preview. In Azure, you can load it to the SQL database, to the Azure Data Explorer, or even ADLS, or even load it to a SharePoint as a file. But now we are pushing that to a warehouse, and the warehouse that we've got is going to be DP-700 My Data Warehouse. So it is this one. And am I going to create a new table? Yes, I'm going to create a new table, but even I can select a parameter if the table name is going to be received from the parameter. Let's say, something like that notebook that we have created, and pass the parameter for that one. But here, let's say the table that I want to create is going to be my DIM customers, because I'm creating basically a data warehouse. So maybe some discussions should be done around how a data warehouse should look like, and how we can do that. So when basically we want to load the data, we can do it as a replace. It is going to replace completely or append it. Since it is a dimension, I would say let's replace it. But there are some possibilities that if we want to, for example, create a dimension, SCD type 2 and having the history, so then it will be an append, not a replace. We will talk about that soon. The full name, it needs a data type. I will add it something like this. I can have fixed schema when it is I have them here, and let's save it and start loading. But I just remembered something, that I have to go back to my slides. So let's save, run, and close this guy. And let's back to our slides to just walk you through the data warehouses and how it does look like, and what is the main things about the warehouse in Fabric. As I mentioned, we have talked about them in the DP-600. If you have watched it before, maybe it is going to be a refresher for you, or maybe some repeated thing for you. So basically, for the data warehouse, there are some fundamental things that we need to think about. It is that, we ingest the data, we store the data there, and we process that, and also prepare it for analysis and delivering that data. In Fabric, the data warehouse is basically like the other storages, is using one lake, and the data behind that is going to be a delta table, right? And actually, which is actually supporting the T-SQL, and the files behind that is basically Parquet files. We just checked how we can create it, but as an overview of what a data warehouse should look like, basically we have three basically table types. The fact table, which where we have the measurable fields, like in an order table, orders of a retail store table. we have the quantity of the products, we have the total amount of the products, and these kind of things. And on the other side, we have the dimension tables. The dimension tables basically are the descriptive information for that data. For example, we can say the total amount of the sales per region or per customer, per product. So when we say per something or by something, then we are talking about a descriptive thing, descriptive things, and a dimension table, basically. It is very common for the dimension table to include two key columns. One is the business column, the business key that is coming from our transactional database, and on the other side we have the surrogate key, which is basically used for our links between the tables in our warehouse, right? So also we have the integration tables or staging tables where we do our data transformation, data loading, and preparation. The types of the dimension tables, there are some specific type of them, or the time dimension or date dimension, actually dimension that where we have the time period that when an event like that order when the purchase was occurred, and the other type of the dimensions are slowly changing dimension. For example, in our customer table, a customer now is in the, for example, let's say in New York, and then in the next month that customer is moved to California, right? So we cannot summarize that they actually that that person's that customer's purchase in both places, and then say, hey, for example, the data for that location for actually for that customer is now be counted in California, because it doesn't make sense. You have to just separate them, and for this reason we have the slowly changing dimensions, like the customer location. But how it actually is going to be implemented, we talk about that later. The data warehouse is basically in two, let's say one main shape, which is the star schema. It is basically how the tables are going to be connected together, how they're going to be in relationship together. We have the fact type table, one fact table, then the dimension tables around that, and that is why it is called star schema. And the dimensions are those guys that we use in our reporting, for example, total sales by this product or by this employee. There other type of the schemas that where we cannot actually where actually there is a relationship to one of your dimensions, which is going to be one step far from your fact table. In this position, in this situation, the warehouse schema is going to be called snowflake schema. However, it is always recommended to follow the star schema as much as you can, but sometimes there are some limitations that doesn't allow you to go with that route. In order to ingest data into warehouse, we talked about them. However, there is two items that one of them is going to be covered, I think. But for the copy into command is basically reading a data from a file, from a ADLS, for example. Then you can just load it into your data warehouse. But for the cross database querying, it is we are going to do that by reading the data from Lakehouse. Maybe we can stop something here and resume it. I don't want to make this session that long. It is already 3 hours, but let's do something quickly here for that cross querying and cross actually loading the data. However, the data warehouse, we have loaded a table here for our dimension customers. Oh, wait, hang on. I actually loaded both tables. I was not interested in this one. I had to disable the loading for this table in my data flow. So let's drop this guy here, and we will check it later in our data flow to not load that. For each of those queries, it was just pushing the data into one at the destination. Anyway, here we can add more resources, from the same workspace. In the workspace that we have the DP-700 My Lakehouse. We can just bring it in, and we can start executing exploring the data there. One of them is I want to just show you how it does look like. The list of schemas are going to be loaded here. We have some data we know from our previous job, which was dates or orders and products. So we want them in our let's say we want them in our warehouse. For example, let's say let's load the products, right? Here we can just say select from let's say select star from this guy, from the list of products that I've got. It's going to list them here. The product ID is not in the type that I need. The unit price also is not. That we can maybe change them here as well. How? I'm gonna just say no. For example, for the product ID, I can just say convert. I'm not sure convert is working. Yeah. And let's use int. And let's do the same thing for unit. For the unit price, use it as double or decimal. Let's I'm not sure long is available or not. Decimal with 2 purchases, and here I want the unit price. Okay, so, and we have the category. No, it keeps category and name. So Let's just run it and see if there's no problem with the data type. And as you can see, it has no change the data types here for me. I'm happy with that. And here I can just say select insert into for example, what is my table dim product as select or sorry, I haven't created my table yet. Here I can maybe say into dim product. Yeah. And my dimension of the product is also loaded here, and we can do the same story with the orders, or we can keep the orders here. However, for example, a new SQL query can be added here to just say select now start from what is it called, DP-700 Lakehouse dot staging dot orders star. It is my orders. I can just alias that. Let's say inner join with DP-700 warehouse, then the DBO and product P on O dot product ID equals to P dot product ID. Then we can just having a join of the data that we will have, and then maybe we can just have a look at the data. If that looks right for us, if you're happy with it, okay, we can keep it. We can load this data. We can just think of a medallion architecture. Let's say our bronze layer is in our Lakehouse, then we want to have our gold layer or silver layer in our data warehouse. So anyway, we are happy with that. I'm gonna just I just wanted to do some joining. However, you can always do the p.name, for example, aggregations. Let's say you will just want to summarize it. Just say sum of a total amount. Do we have total? Yeah, total. And you can just call it sum total. And then here we can just say group by name, and we can just even sort it by sum total descending. Just giving you some idea how the data can be executed or created. And we can even just save this one as a view and just say total. It's going to be a view total orders per product, right? And one view is going to be created here for us. Cool. That's cool. I think that's enough for tonight. There's some questions there, and we will just cover the other stuffs next session about the data warehouse. It is really a big topic, these two, that I actually we had to take care of different sections. I just want to take you to the last slide. We had a lot to cover in this session. The items that we discussed and remained. So these, guys are going to be for the next session for implement row level, column level, object level, and stuffs. We implemented orchestration patterns, notebook and pipelines, including parameters and dynamic expression. That's good. You're not seeing that. Like this, that's good. Design, implement full load and incremental data loads. For the incremental load, we've discussed it. Prepare data for loading into a dimensional model. Somehow we are doing that in data warehouse. Design and implement a loading pattern for streaming data. That's going to be our next session, maybe, or the other one. Yeah. Ingest and data. Transform the batch data. We talked about the data store. Choosing between data flows, notebooks, KQL, and SQL based on what we discussed initially. Create and manage shortcuts to data. We've done it. Implement mirroring. We discussed that and know what kind of mirroring we can do. It is not really a hard thing to do. We have ingested data using the pipeline. We have ingested data using dataflow. And also the notebook, transforming data, PySpark and SQL. We have done it. For KQL, we haven't. However, dataflow Gen 2 is not that discussed here, but that's good to know. For denormalizing data, it is just a joining of the tables. Grouping, aggregating data. Handling duplicates, missing, and late arriving data. We have mostly covered the things, and our next session will be next week on 24th of December, session number 3. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining and your time. You can just rewatch the video and share with others, and also rate the session on Meetup group if you like this. There's 2 questions, I think. Why it's very slow to run the Spark codes? Yeah, it is maybe because of the trial version that we've got, and also the session and the environment that we are working in. So it depends actually when we are establishing a new connection, a new session. And the next question is, how much of CI/CD knowledge do we need to have to work efficiently in Fabric? So it is, as long as you use the built-in tools are enough to how to connect to the a repository, and how to compare to basically workspaces for the deployments. Yeah, that's it. Awesome. And yeah, until the next week, enjoy your days, and let me know if you have any question in the chat or in the on LinkedIn. Enjoy your time, and catch you later next week. Have a good one. Cheers. Bye bye.